Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wellness Saturday. This is day 27 of the Vine Health COVID-19 update that now I've done for almost a month. Oh, goodness. So, a long time since we've been doing this update. This Vine Health update was started because of the pandemic and how sort of distressing and upsetting the whole process has been, and the inundation with fake news. So my thinking is to bring you facts, not fiction, and to help you survive and thrive during this time. And it's also helpful for me too, actually. So it's not just you, it's also helpful for me. Hello, good morning. It's also helpful for me. So today is Wellness Saturday because I feel that if we are well in ourselves, in our minds, in our bodies, then we're able to actually cope with what's going on all around us. It's been an interesting 24 hours. It's the news again. It's still very difficult to hear. In the UK, the number of deaths close to 1,000 up until yesterday. So 980 people died up until 5 p.m. yesterday. And you know, when you think about 980, it's 980 families that have been completely thrown into disarray. It's 980 people, not all old, many of them young, that have been affected by this. So quite disturbing when you actually put it in perspective. However, we are going through a pandemic, and we've had a pandemic before. As I said, in 1918 was the last time that we had a pandemic, and we're having the same now. So all you can do really, even though I know many people are tearing their hair out, they want things to go back to normal, all you can do really is to stay in the house, to stay home, stay safe, and just protect yourself. Today is Wellness Saturday, so eventually when I got towards the end, I'll be talking about two things. One is the motivation, so science of motivation. People talk about putting on weight and they're not able to stop eating, and why are they eating so much, and they're getting fatter because we're at home and we're being more sedentary. So how can you motivate yourself to remain the same size when you finish this pandemic as when you got in? And then I'm going to be talking about the plank challenge. So, and you know what the plank is and why it's such a useful form of exercise for everybody. There's no age discrimination with the plank. So for Wellness Saturday, we'll be looking at science of motivation, and we're going launching the plank challenge. And what I'll be hoping for is to see lots of you getting involved in the plank challenge, which would be wonderful. So that's what's happening in the UK. Our prime minister is out of intensive care. We don't know how he is, but hopefully he's getting better. The United States, again, things are still ongoing there as the way it is. Unfortunately, President Trump is still upsetting everybody around the world. And sometimes I hear what he says, and I almost can't believe it, because I feel as though is somebody just messing with my mind here? And is that a tactic that has worked for him? Because he's in his 70s. So if a behavior is not working for you, and that goes with motivation, if it's not working for you, you're not going to carry on that behavior. So clearly there's something about what he's doing that is working for him as a person. But I think he really upset India with the issue of chloroquine and saying all sorts of things, the politics of America. So if you do watch this, when you wake up, we put in America, please enlighten us as to what's going on in America regarding President Trump upsetting everyone. And also, we still know that the number of people that are dying, more of them are from black and minority ethnic groups. So it's important that we keep that at the back of our minds, that the people that are dying from this, a lot of them are black, a lot of them are Asian. So what can we do to change our outcomes when it comes to disease? One of the things I was talking about earlier was that, okay, yes, 980 people died yesterday, but in a higher number, have also died from other conditions. That's part of life. Life is about being born and dying, but again, you want to make sure that people live a long, healthy life, or live a healthy life while we're here. I mean, we don't all know the answers. I don't have the answers. I'm doing and saying what I believe is evidence-based. So nobody has the answers. Nobody is a guru. Anything can happen to anyone, but we just commit our lives into God's hands, and one that we can do that, you know, we, that's America. Nigeria is still doing really, really well. So I think is it 305 confirmed cases now in Nigeria, 305, and about over 50, almost 60 have been discharged from hospital, from the isolation center, and 7 have died. So considering how the context of the rest of the world is, Nigeria is still doing really, really, really well. And you know, even though people are there and are stuck there, like some people that live in other parts of the world are stuck in Nigeria and are not being evacuated, when it comes to the actual disease itself, I think Nigeria is doing well. So, but I do know people that are in Nigeria who live in the United Kingdom who have not been able to get out. And what they're saying to me now, this is what the people who are there are saying. I haven't fact checked it with the United Kingdom's side, so I always say that I don't want to ever spread any myths or any gossip or anything that is not accurate. But what I hear is that people that live here are stuck out there, but because they have dual citizenship, they feel that their situation is not being taken seriously. So in the United Kingdom, anybody who works in the Home Office or Foreign Office know that they are your citizens that are stuck in Nigeria who are not able to get out. They are Nigerian, yes, but the thing is, they are Nigerian, but their main residence is not in Nigeria. So they want to come back to where their main residence is. So we do need to help them get back home. You can imagine going on holiday and not being able to come back to your house. It's a difficult one. So yes, that's another update for you. So if you know anyone that can help or who's out there helping, people are trying to get out. Said that there's about 4,000 of them in Nigeria who live in the United Kingdom trying to get back. That must be upsetting. I can't imagine being out somewhere else and not being able to come back home. Right, so that's all the update. I can't think of anything else. This is all. I've not written anything down today. Normally I take notes, but I've not written anything down because I think Wellness Saturday has to be relaxed and chilled. We don't, you know, there's no pressure really. And happy Easter to everyone anyway. So now I'm talking about motivation, and motivation in terms of you know, how do we make sure that we, particularly in terms of weight gain, because everybody has been talking about, I can't stay away from my fridge, I can't stay away from my, you know, I'm eating all the time, I'm making all of this food. The way motivation works is it works on a reward basis. So the brain, there's what we call the relationship between dopamine in the brain, which is like a hormone in the brain that actually keeps us excited, happy, motivated. And when there's a reward that is promised, you seek that behavior. So people say people are smoking, they are smokers, why can't they stop smoking? Because there's a reward for smoking that is triggered in their brain, so they have to do it. And that's why how addiction works. It's the same thing with food. You know, there's that cake or that puff puff or something, your brain is already firing dopamine, because when you eat it, the kind of excitement you're going to get from it, you know, can completely negate the consequence of putting on a few pounds. So we cannot rationalize eating. We cannot rationalize willpower. Doesn't work to change behavior. Willpower, just simply, oh, I'm going to not do it, does not work. You have to find another way of doing it. So you have to think about the reward. What can you do to change your reward processes in terms of eating? So first of all, what I will say to you is that simply trying to lose weight is not a good it's not a good reward, because it's so far-fetched, and the reward you're looking for has to be immediate. You know, for you to lose a kilogram, it takes a long time, it takes a while. So you can't say, oh, I want to lose weight as my reward. That's not a good reward. Think about what the reward has to be for you. And the way I say that is to have a schedule. So particularly with food, if you put it in a schedule form, so the way you know that I'm going to eat morning, afternoon, and night, and I have 2 snacks, so that you know that the reward is coming and you know when it's going to be. rather than saying I want to lose weight and then you find yourself in front of the fridge eating everything and then feeling bad about, feeling you have a hit and then you feel bad about it. So it's not going to work. So the first thing is schedule and put your food times, your food times in with times. And some people talk about intermittent fasting. For me, the benefit of intermittent fasting is that you have long periods where you're not eating, and then when you eat, then it's more controlled. So over this pandemic period, I found out that I'm not eating breakfast. So I'm going from not eating from about 8 o'clock the night before, and I'm not eating until maybe midday the following day. So that's a long period of fasting, but I know I'm looking forward to my food. And in that time, when I wake up and I put in exercise, so the other schedule you have to put in is your exercise. Exercise in the morning is a whole lot more effective, I can tell you that. Some people prefer to exercise in the evening, but put your scheduled exercise in the morning. So you've woken up, you've had your water if you want to drink water, and then you go and do the exercise. And I make that a routine every morning. And then after your exercise, then you eat. I can also tell you that because your exercise fires off that feeling of that reward feeling, that high, you get a high after exercise, your appetite is not as high and what you eat is not as damaging. Your craving for sugar is less. So and it's the refined foods, that those high carb foods that got converted to simple sugars that are the problem. I feel like I'm explaining myself, but I don't want to be saying things that are not making sense. So if you have a question, if you put it in the box, then I can sort of respond to that. But I've never looked at weight loss as a good reward. It doesn't work. And that's why people are they'll get skinny and then they'll get fat. They get skinny or get fat. They cannot sustain that size. It's not sustainable. You will always be yo-yo dieting, and you don't want to be a yo-yo dieter, because it doesn't really work. I'm not seeing any questions. I'm not seeing any names, but I hope I'm not missing people's questions. So the first thing that I said to you is, don't look at weight loss as a reward. Think about scheduling things and put exercise first thing in the morning. And there was a question about someone being really, really worried about their diabetes. Diabetes, I understand that you're worried about diabetes, but simply being worried about diabetes is not going to help at this time. Again, try and focus on the actual outcome, which is your blood sugar and where you want it to be. So the question is, please explain why morning exercise is better. Again, the morning exercise is better for your appetite. I'm trying to put the link between eating and working out. So if you have been sedentary, so you've woken up, you've slept all night for 8 hours, so you're not moving, and we know that sitting still or staying still is the new cancer, as they say. So the longer we sit down, the more illness we're getting. So if you've stayed up the whole night for 8 hours, and then you're going to stay seated again till the afternoon, so that doesn't work. So you need to move. So if you move first thing, that's the first reason why morning exercise is better. Secondly, if you exercise in the morning, it also helps suppress your that need to eat, that sort of constant need to eat, because you get another reward. So the dopamine excitement in your brain, as I said again, you get another reward from the exercise, because that makes you again feel kind of accomplished. You get a reward from it, and the need to eat is also suppressed. If you wait till the evening, then you've had a longer period of inactivity, and it doesn't really work as well. Some people are keen to exercise in the evening. As far as you can keep moving during the day as well, then it's fine. But I find that doing it in the morning is certainly a whole lot more effective, because you break that long period of inactivity that you've had from lying down all night, and you get your blood flow moving. So again, just to finish off, don't look at weight loss as your outcome. It doesn't work. Don't try using willpower. Willpower does not work. Schedule your food and schedule your exercise. Make sure that your exercise is uncompromised, so you know that I will do my exercise every morning. If you are even more rigorous, you put a time to it, to say that I will do my exercise at 10 o'clock every morning, and I'm going to do it for 30 minutes. And you might not do it for 7 days, you might do it for two days, 3 days, but it will start to improve as you start to feel better in yourself. I don't weigh myself. I don't know what I weigh. I don't measure anything, because I feel like when you measure and you weigh, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. Again, that's not evidence-based. For me personally, I find that when I measure and I weigh, then it's more anxiety provoking. I'm checking, oh god, I've done all of that work and nothing has happened. And I hear people say that all the time. I did all of that exercise and I'm still a size 14. You know, it's not a good way of motivating yourself. Just do the work, put the schedule in, and leave the outcome, and just enjoy the feeling you get with the exercise. So, and then your fridge doesn't become a threat to you anymore. Some people are so scared of their fridge because they're thinking, I'm going to eat everything. So put your eating in, and then don't restrict food. For me, people that are trying to lose weight, I find that they say, I'm not going to eat that, I'm not going to eat that. When they spiral, they leave the outcome. Yes, leave the outcome, because if you're too focused on the outcome of and how quickly you're achieving the outcome, then you get discouraged when you don't get there in time. You know, so it's that's just do the work, just focus on you know, putting your food in time, in time, you know that you're eating in the morning, afternoon, and night, and don't rule out anything. So don't say, I'm not going to eat pounded yam for the next 5 weeks, I'm not going to eat rice is the enemy of everything, you know, because then you're now increasing your craving. And how many of you know that when they tell you, well, for me, don't do this, then you're constantly putting it in my consciousness. No, there has to be a target. But when you are starting out with when you're starting out with this journey, because I'm responding to all what people have said about, oh, my fridge, I can't stop eating, I cannot stop eating. When you're starting out this journey, then really you want to use small steps and use the science behind it. And the science of reward is linked to the brain, is linked to the idea of dopamine. That dopamine hit you get and you expect a reward, and the reward and the pull from food is way stronger than the reward from pure exercise. So that's what I mean. As people get more disciplined with exercise and other things, then they might decide to have a target. I personally know that I have to run several times a week, and that helps my mental health, and I do it, and it's become second nature. You know, I don't second guess it, I don't double think it, but before I couldn't do it. So that's when ketogenic comes in. Would you recommend such a diet to anyone? Keto is wonderful. Keto is wonderful, but what I find is that people don't do it the right way. So that someone is recommending, the whole idea is that people feel that if you're in ketosis, then you're burning more fat, and there are foods that get you quicker in ketosis. But to be in ketosis is very, very difficult, right? So you're going to have to be extremely disciplined. And I've seen people who are trying to do a ketogenic diet, but they're eating food that take them out of ketosis. They go back and eat rice and carbohydrates. So the discipline of ketosis is really tough. And people that achieve it do it by extreme measures. So they are checking their urine, they are dipping their urine, checking that there's ketones in there. Surely, if you're diabetic, you have to be very careful with such a diet. So the ketogenic diet is not as straightforward as people think it is. So it requires extreme discipline, and it doesn't take very much to get you out of ketosis. Those kind of foods I love. So things like avocados, they're wonderful because it gets you in ketosis. But if you want to do a strictly ketogenic diet, it requires a lot of discipline, and I don't know many people that can achieve that. I certainly am not on a ketogenic diet because I know I cannot achieve a ketogenic diet. You know what, I know that whatever goes in must come out, meaning that I'm going to be doing exercise, so my input and my output must at least even out. You cannot eat 5 square meals and only do 30 minutes of exercise. You're going to get fatter, clearly. So you must be able to burn whatever you are eating. Burn it. If you're going to eat it, know that you're going to have to get it out somehow. So ketogenic diet is great, but just let's be clear that you cannot get into ketosis that easily. And again, when we, like as doctors, if you check someone's urine and there's ketones in it, it tells me that they are dehydrated. You know, it's not a good sign for us in the medical field. So you have to be careful. You have to be drinking lots of water. And I haven't talked about water as well. Water is a really, really good one. Some of us, as we get older, drinking water, we have to be careful. Now, when I'm going for a run, I don't drink water before I go, because if I drink water before I go, I would need a toilet. And there's no toilet now. You cannot just nip into a restaurant and pee, or nip into a gym, because everywhere is closed. So I think when you're maybe you're 20, your bladder is more stronger. You can run for 2 hours and you don't need the toilet. But once I get back, I get my liter bottle of water and I just try and drink all of that, and that's clear. So yeah, just going back to the question about targets. You do need to have a target, but the target needs to be measurable and needs to be small. And and that's with anything. It has to be smart. It has to be achievable. It has to be, it has to be something that you can achieve. And that first target is you actually getting yourself into a routine. And as someone said, be disciplined. Again, discipline comes in, you build on discipline, because it's not something that we achieve straight away. We fall down, we get up, we move on, and the more we keep doing that process, the better that we get daily. So yeah, so just in summary, the fridge is not our enemy, but we need to just eat whatever we decide to eat in moderation. Schedule what you're eating so that it's not, you're not just eating at any time, And also, what I'll say is that don't be sedentary for too long. So you need to keep moving. Do your exercise in the morning. If you do your exercise in the morning and you schedule it, you're more motivated to do it. Going to the plank challenge. So my challenge to everyone is the plank challenge. The plank is a form of exercise that improves everything. So I've done my challenge already, and I'll post that after this, and I managed to do a 2-minute plank. So anybody that can win me in that 2-minute plank, I have to think about a prize for you. The plank helps to strengthen your shoulders, it strengthens your wrists, it strengthens all the muscles in the front of your body. So your pectoralis, your chest, your rectus abdominis, all of the obliques, your legs. So it's one exercise that works every part of the body, and also improves stability, balance. And as you get older, balance is a very, very important one. So if you're able to do the plank challenge today, that would be wonderful. I described it already, but I'm going to show you quickly what I did earlier. I'm going to hold it for like a second. So you can either do the plank on your arms or on your elbows. So on your arms, you just stretch out everything. Like I'll post the video later, and you just post that out like that as a plank, and you hold it for as long as you possibly can, like that. If that's too much for you, you can come down on your elbows and hold it like that, and some people start on their knees, and some people just straighten out their legs in total, but I'll post that later. That really sort of gets that the abs as tight as you can, because we all need flat abs, and flat abs seem to be quite difficult to achieve. So yeah, so that's Wellness Saturday for you. It's really nice to talk about food and motivation and how we're all coping. I hope you're all doing well. If you have any questions that I haven't answered, let me know. Discipline is important, but let's be forgiving of ourselves. Let's be kind to ourselves. We're all trying to make it work. It's I think the kindness that you offer to others, offer it to yourself first, so that when you fail, you don't see it as failure, but you see it as a learning curve. And yeah, so that's wonderful. I'm really happy I got lots of engagement today. It looks like food is a good topic to talk to to discuss. So maybe next Saturday, for our Wellness Saturday, we'll pick up another challenge and talk about how you're doing with the food thing, and maybe we can go to the next step. So once you've got your scheduling your food, and you've got the idea of exercising in the morning, then we can start to think about the next steps. So do we then measure anything? Do we measure waist circumference? Weight is not a good measure. Waist circumference is a good measure of how you're doing. Obviously looking at how toned you are, your shoulders and all of that, and how you look nice in clothes. So yeah, tomorrow there will be no Vine Health update because it's Easter Sunday, and as I always say, Sunday is a day for deep spiritual practice and a day of contemplation and reflection for me. So I wouldn't want to intrude on your own Sunday as well. But I'll be back again on Easter Monday to talk about different things on Monday. But thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I hope I'll post my plank video. And anybody that can beat my plank video, you must let me know. I'm going to showcase you, because I did 2 minutes on my arms, and it'd be nice to see you video yourself. Please video yourself and just tag me on the plank challenge. Let's see how you're doing. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and send any further questions and I'll try and answer them either on Monday or next week. And for the person that's told me about their diabetes and they're really worried about, please don't be worried about your diabetes. As far as your HbA1c is within the normal range, please do not worry. I hope you know that you're checking your HbA1c and that you're checking your blood sugars, and if that's in the normal range, you're fine. You're fine. And if you get the coronavirus, it doesn't mean that you're going to die. It doesn't mean that, you know, you have the worst outcome. If your sugar is in the normal range, you have a better chance of doing well. So don't worry about that. I know you've sent me various texts about it. I've seen your text. I'm not ignoring it. I'm just saying to you that just keep your sugar in the normal range. Do what you've said this morning. Do the plank challenge and let me know how it goes. Have a great day. Thank you everyone.